Welcome back to Continue Cooking with me, Monte Cristo, the face of middle-aged streaming on Twitch. Had a good tagline, Susie?
Yeah.
Today on Continue Cooking, we'll be making bossam with a delicious honey garlic sauce.
This is a very classic dish that is super delicious and served with rice that I just remembered I hadn't made yet. So we're gonna do that first, actually. It's been a hectic morning.
It's been a morning.
This is the part that I do in advance, so you don't have to watch.
What if we want to watch? Thank you.
Rice is going in the rice cooker now, so we can talk about the bossam. This is the bossam and the braising liquid we are going to be making with the bossam. So we have around 2 pounds or a kilogram, maybe a little more, of the pork belly. This is skin-on pork belly. You can get this at Asian markets. You can get it cut thick like this. You don't want the thinner cut samgyeopsal because when we serve it, we're going to be slicing it this direction and it will look much better and be served the way it's supposed to be served. The skin-on is going to be important because that's going to be nice and translucent and fatty and delicious at the end. The other stuff that's going to be going into the braising liquid is we have some doenjang here, which is the Korean fermented soybean paste. I have a few white parts of the green onions. So the green parts have been cut off. We're going to be smashing these and we will put them inside the water. I have a cup of coffee. You could also use a tablespoon of instant coffee and a little bit more water, but we'll be using 7 cups of water and 1 cup of the coffee. We're using a couple of bay leaves here. We're going to smash a thumb of ginger. We're going to use quite a few of these garlic cloves, so 7 or 8 of these, which I will also smash. Half of one of these onions. Half of an apple. This is a Fuji apple, nice and sweet. We'll use some whole black pepper and, of course, a little bit of salt. And these are the ingredients for the braising liquid. And so we're making a brine. The pot has 7 cups of water in it. You will use 8 cups if you are using a teaspoon of instant coffee. However, I'm going to use 7 cups of water and just pour in a cup of fresh coffee. I'm going to start heating this now because we need to bring it to a boil. So I'm going to put it on, I don't know, medium-high heat. It's in an enameled Dutch oven. We'll add a little bit of salt. I'm going to use a teaspoon of the whole black peppers because they will release their flavor into the liquid. Probably use half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper if that's what you've got. So what we're going to try and do is release the flavor of these aromatic ingredients into the liquid, right? So I'm gonna take a thumb of ginger here. So I'll cut, about an inch piece of the ginger or so. And I'm gonna use the flat of my knife to just smash it as best I can. So we'll just smash it a little bit, create some additional surface area. And we don't have to trim the garlic or anything, but I'm gonna basically do the same thing to these garlic cloves. Just a light smashing. Remember, if we smash the garlic too much, it's gonna release too much garlic flavor. So just wanna open it up a little bit and we're gonna do the exact same thing here. So we can go ahead and put all of this into our braising liquid. We also need about half a medium-sized onion. And half an apple. This is like creating a stock, so we can carve this into quarters maybe, but the onion is over the period of an hour likely to mostly dissolve. We'll be throwing all these ingredients out at the end. This is just to flavor the liquid. And let's put some bay leaves in. All right, so we have this at a boil now. I'm gonna turn this down to medium. So I am going to put in the pork belly now. I'm going to dissolve the doenjang in here using a fine mesh sieve. And I just want to make sure this is evenly incorporated. So a lot of the salt in our brine is going to be coming from the doenjang. So I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of the doenjang. I'm going to use a fine mesh sieve and chopsticks here just to go ahead and start to evenly incorporate this. Because if you just put the paste in, it's going to kind of be chunky, and in a big pot, it's going to be pretty hard to incorporate easily without having to seriously stir everything in the ingredients, and then there might be a big chunk at the bottom that is missed, right? So you also see the pieces of soybean in there. Basically, we are going to put the lid on this. We're gonna start with probably like 45 minutes, and we'll go ahead and check on it after that. We are currently about halfway through, And you can see we've got everything kind of softening up here. You can see the onion on the side getting nice and soft, melting in. The apple is very soft if you touch it. I just turned it down a little bit. It was like kind of boiling a little bit too much for my liking. You can also see that some of the pork fat is starting to render here. This is what we want to see. So it'll get a little bit leaner. And if we take the pork out, you can see that it's puffed up, which is what we want it to do in any kind of pork belly braising recipe, because we're going to cool it down and then slice it. That smells very nice. Yeah, this is similar to kind of twice cooked pork in Chinese cuisine, where we would also, the first cooking of the twice cooked pork, we would put it in with the green onions and the ginger and maybe some Sichuan peppercorns, and you get that really nice aromatic into it before you chill it, slice it thinly, and then stir fry it for the second cooking of the pork. So let me stop that. All right, it's been 45 minutes, so let's check in on the bossam.
Oh, yeah.
That is looking pretty good. 5 minutes. So there's our alarm after 5 minutes, and I'm going to turn the heat off of the bossam now. Basically, we're going to let the bossam just sit and cool in the pot because we don't want it to dry out. I'll probably take off the lid just so that it goes a little bit faster. The bossam is still going to be submerged in the liquid, so we'll just let that cool down for a little bit till it gets to the point where we can cut it. Here is our bossam, which has been cooling. It's still pretty warm. That's unfortunate. The reason why it's unfortunate is that I need to cut this, and it's a lot easier to cut, obviously, when it's not burning my hands. And it's also easier to cut when it's cool. You could put this in the refrigerator and cool it very quickly, but it will also dry it out a little bit. I'm gonna move this over here for the time being. That's why cooling it in the liquid is nice, but it also takes longer. It does smell delightful though. You can really smell all the aromatics. The ginger, the garlic, the apple, the onion.
You can see the steam. You can see how hot it is.
That's just me, baby.
You're just a big piece of meat.
I'm so hot, I'm steaming. So you do have to be careful sometimes with this pork belly. Like there are little bones in here, but that will be picked out by the person who is eating it. Mm-hmm. Typically when pork belly is served in Korea, so we don't have to worry about that. People will know to like remove the potentially tiny little bones. Sometimes the bones will be bigger. This piece has no bones about it. Don't have to worry about this one. The honey sauce is maybe the best part of this, so we definitely have to do that. We're ready to make our bossam honey sauce. We're gonna use about 4 tablespoons of minced garlic. So I have, 10 or 12 cloves here. We're gonna have some olive oil. We've got some honey and some fresh lemon juice. It's the only 4 ingredients. We're gonna heat these up in a saucepan really quick. It goes great with the bossam. I'm not gonna let us not have the honey sauce because it's just too good. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons of olive oil here. Good quality olive oil because we're gonna be eating this directly as a dipping sauce, so it does in fact matter. So now we're gonna add some garlic here. Remember, we just want it to sizzle and infuse the oil. It's about 4 tablespoons of garlic, it's quite a bit. But we want it, it's really good when it's really garlicky, as are most things. So that's what we want, a nice sizzle here, but we don't want it to brown. So we want to cook that garlic, make it a little bit more mild, rather than being raw, but mostly it's just to really infuse it. Turn that down just a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. And guys, we're gonna squeeze about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice into this. That's gonna perk it right up. So here's how you will eat the bossam when it's all nice and done. So you can do it in any combination you like. I think that's one of the beautiful things about Korean food, is that you've got all the dishes on the table and it's up to you to decide how to eat them. So I like to take my lettuce wrap and I will actually dip my bossam into the honey garlic oil. I'm gonna put some of my samjang on the top of this. I will put some of the musengjang on top, and you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit of rice. Maybe a little bit more. And then you're gonna wrap it up and just one shot it.